Hello channel. So I am back today, and as you can see, I am in a different environment for sure. I wanted to get out into nature today, and it is a beautiful day here in Minnesota, and I wanted to come out and enjoy the fall weather and the leaves that we're having. The colors are just awesome, and I am sitting on the floor of a forest. I don't know if it's actually a forest, it might be just kind of a wooded area. But I just wanted to get out here and get close to nature. I really don't do that a whole lot. I mean, actually, I do. I am an outdoorsy person, but I never like really get down on the ground and amongst the leaves, if you will, and just they say when you do that, you can feel the vibration of the earth. And I've always just loved being out in nature and just, it kind of gives me solitude a little bit. Just hearing the birds in the forest here. I just hope like a snake doesn't come crawling up on me. Anyway, I'm in a more rural area as well. So I think you can actually hear the tractors in the fields as they're wrapping up their fall cleanup. I'm on an off road, so hopefully I'm in a okay spot. But anyway, I wanted to come out here and first enjoy the weather. It's like 50 degrees today, and there's not going to be many days like this. But I just wanted to chat about intuition and how I feel this has helped me in my life and everything that I've experienced in life. I was thinking about this the other day, and I thought, and I've gotten messages that intuition, it's a God-given gift. It's a spiritual gift that I've been given, and not too many people have that gift. And then I start thinking, well, is it really a gift, or is it based on your experiences in life, and it's allowed you to sharpen your intuition skills based on the things that you've encountered in your life and the events that have unfolded. And I guess you can say that it kind of is both. Maybe God has given me that gift, if you will, and he's also put me in enough life experiences to be able to put intuition to practice and to sharpen those skills. So I started thinking about that the other day, and I've told a lot of people this, that I tend to shed light on things, and I don't mean to, and I think that some people take it as a negative thing, but I don't know if, and I'm not trying to, but I tend to, go along with the program, silently taking it all in, learning what I need to learn. And then as I get good at something, I tend to see how it could be done better or more efficiently. And sometimes I'll bring this up to people, and you could tell they don't like it. Or they're like, okay, well, whatever, where that's cool, then I can change things as I want. But I was just thinking about this the other day, and from as far back as I can remember, I tried to go back to when I first noticed this in myself. And so it was, after college, and I was at a job where I think it was temp work, I was maybe in school or in between college, and, I didn't want something full time, so I was doing contract work. And so I remember working with a leading shipping company, and they had a whole bunch of us in a room, and we had to recalculate the shipping charges for, it seemed like maybe it was businesses that had things delivered to them, or maybe it was even individuals. And the bottom line is they had I guess discovered that they weren't being charged the correct shipping charges based on dim weights and the size of the package and things like that. So they had us all in there. We had to like look at the, shipping receipt, do calculations, whatever, and then arrive at, okay, well, this person owes $5 more, or this person owes $20 more, or whatever it was. Well, I was going along and, doing the thing and whatever. And then some dawned on me that this isn't right. We're not doing this right. And I can't remember the logistics of it, but something was like, well, if this is the case, then that. You know what I mean? And so I brought it to somebody's attention and they're just like, oh, well, just keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, and at this time, I'm like probably 19, 20 years old. It's like, I don't care, whatever. I'm getting paid, I don't care. So that was one time. Then when I had moved to Minnesota, I was doing contract work again, and I was in another office environment for a different shipping company. And I can't remember what I was doing, maybe kind of the same thing, or, pulling data and analyzing it or whatever. And they told me what, the outcome was supposed to be and what they were trying to accomplish and whatnot. And again, I did it again. I, was doing it for a while, and then I'm like, this isn't being done right. And they're like, what do you mean? And so I was explaining, my reasoning behind it and whatever. And you could tell that they were getting it. And you could tell that they agreed. But again, they're like, just keep doing what you're doing. And it was like, and these are like the managers of like the department. Like, I'm just a peon contract worker, And so I'm like, okay, again, I was young. I didn't, whatever. I'm still getting paid the same amount of money. So that was that. Then as I got into my professional career, I just found a little acorn. So as I got into my professional working life, I became a broker. And so when you have a book of business, different clients that you work on, you're doing a lot of analytical reports, you're pulling data from the carriers and figuring out how their plans are running, if they're if they've got enough funding in their plans. Mostly, we look at the medical plans, to make sure that they're not underfunded based on what they project their claims to be, things like that. Well, you have a whole bunch of clients you're working on, but you still have the same reporting that you're doing from one client to the next, right? Well, I was, working on some reporting for a client, and I happened to take it to somebody else and, said, hey, can you just check this over and whatnot? And so they did, and they're like, oh, well, we do it this way when we're working on this client. I'm like, oh, okay. And, maybe the numbers were like, a percentage off, whatever. I mean, they were very close. So then another time, I was working on another client and I took it to someone else, one of the other, consultants or, benefit analysts, whatever. And I said, hey, can you check this out? And, I just want another set of eyes on this, whatever. They're like, oh, yeah, but, well, actually, we use this kind of reporting and we, figure this out this way. And I started thinking, like, shouldn't we be doing this the same for every client? Like, I understand that, maybe there are some nuances that you have to be aware of, with every client, whatever. But when you're figuring out how a plan is running, it should probably be done like the same way, from one client to the next. It really shouldn't change. So I brought this up and they're like, yeah, well, we probably should be. And, again, I mean, I'm older now and more experienced in my field, but I'm still kind of young. I'm like, okay, so they're like, well, just keep it the way it is, and, we should probably like talk to, we should probably talk about it at the next meeting, on how we can make this better and more, I don't even know what you'd say, like, not streamlined, but, make a procedure in place, right? I'm like, okay, whatever. And then, I can't remember how long I stayed after that, whatever. But after a while, the company ended up doing the reporting the same way. They had a canned, report. that you would use that had all the calculations built in, and everyone used it, which is how pretty much it should be done, right? And then, as time went on, I think a lot of, brokerage companies, they had one person that was more analytical, had more of maybe a finance and actuarial background, that they were the ones that put together all of the data and made sure it was all the same from one client to the next. And then, you would be able to read the data and interpret it and, bring that out to your clients. Well, so that was that. And so I chalked that up to my intuition and being able to, see these things, maybe not right away, but after a while, you have to assume that there's a better way to do this, or B, that this should be done the same way with everyone so that we're all on the same page. The one consultant isn't, putting this information out differently. And so that's always what I've had a gift for, is being able to see things further down the road than just in my immediate sphere, or right in front of my face, if you will. And so, that's kind of what this situation that happened recently too is, I have always felt that, God has watched over me. He's always protected me. He's always gotten me out of predicaments. And whether that is, being able to see things further down the road. Like this last thing that happened, I can't even tell you how crazy it was. Like, I have never been in that situation before. I have never had like something brought out to in front of my face like that. It was crazy. And it just had me think about, all the situations where I've had to use my intuition and, kind of know what was going to happen before it happened. Now, is that some sort of spiritual gift? I don't know. I mean, if it is, that's cool, because I would like to find out more about it. Like, how I can use this more, how I can use it to my advantage. I think it's pretty cool because a lot of people don't have it. And, I guess you could say, okay, is it intuition? Or does it stem off common sense? Maybe people just don't even have common sense. I mean, I know that, sorry, I keep kind of coughing because I'm sitting down here in this kind of damp forest area. But yeah, so is it common sense? Maybe I have more common sense than the average bear, common sense, smarts, people do not use their common sense anymore at all. And so maybe because that is the case, the people with a sharp intuition or a sharp sense of common sense, they just seem like they're out in left field. Like, people look at you like, oh, really? Okay. Like, they look at you, you're gifted, or you are a know-it-all or something. And it's not. Like, you just like can see through the trees. Like, all these trees are back at me. Like, you can see, through the trees. You're not like, you don't come up to a tree and be like, oh, or a bunch of brush and be like, oh, can't go any further. Me, I'm like looking around the trees. I'm getting out my, sickle, whatever. We're going to chop some of this down and clear this out so we can see what the hell's going on, I mean, that's kind of, wow, that was a pretty good analogy. That's kind of how I've always conducted myself and my life and my jobs and how I've approached things. And, sometimes I'm feeling that I am out in left field, like, especially in this day and age, and the way the world works, the way people's work ethics are. I am beginning to wonder if we just stand out because no one else uses their common sense or has any intuition because they haven't had the life experiences to, um, you know, sharpen those skills. I mean, I heard this from somebody. Some worker was like, they went up to their manager and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we are so burnt out. We can't be working all these hours. Whatever." And I guess they were behind in some kind of things they had to manufacture or put out, get shipped out, whatever. And the manager was like, "Well, what do you mean? Like, how many hours are you working? Like, you guys are never working overtime. What are you talking about?" "Well, we're working 42 hours a week every week, and we are just burnt out." 42 hours a week. And mind you, they're full time. So they're working their full time hours of 40 hours plus, what? A couple hours extra a week. That could be like, so that could be, if you're working a half hour every day, that's maybe like an extra half hour 4 days a week. Is that really that like enough to burn you out? And the kid is like, early 20s, and it's like, are you serious right now? Like, you're burnt out at 42 hours a week. Dude, there are people that are working 60 plus hours a week, 50 hours a week. And it's just like, wow. And there you go. Like, if that is how the working world is, and granted, that's a young kid, but, that kid got that mentality from somewhere. And, you wonder where. Like, did they get that from their parents? Like, if the kid is 20, I mean, maybe the parents are like 40, 45. And you would think that those parents had to work like that. Like, I don't know what they've ever, done for their career. But it's like, they had to have worked at least 40 hours a week, if not more. So it's like, where are these people getting this? So, that's what I mean. I thank God every day that I have been given these skills, gifts, whatever. But to me, He has given me the ability to have life experiences, to be able to utilize the intuition, utilize the common sense. And so I just encourage you all to, expand your intuition as well, kind of see further in front of you than just your immediate surroundings. Think about how it will affect yourself, someone else, your family, whatever, 2 days down the road, a week down the road, a month down the road, a year down the road, whatever, because you will have a lot more to offer somebody when you're able to do that. And, with that, it kind of builds on your experience and how you're able to solve problems, in my opinion. So hopefully this information was helpful. And I just wanted to come out and talk a little bit about intuition and how you can utilize that for your benefit. And so have a great day. Enjoy the fall, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.